Hey YouTube, it's Embers1015 coming at you with with my first place undefeated Plant Dragon Ruler deck. Alright, let's get into it. First off, you have your 4 Dragon Rulers. These guys are your boss monsters as well as your main supporting engine. Um, they're really good. I wish they were back at 3, but then we would have another Dragon Ruler format, and I don't think people would be too happy with that. To help them out, you got your 2 Flamvell Guards, uh, 1-star tuners for one, Dragon, Fire type for Blaster, normal monster for Dragon Shrine. They just work really well. Then I run the Mythics. These guys, they open up a lot of plays. They can go into Felgran. They can go into help you make Draco Sacks. They can go help you go into your rank 4s. They're just really good. Plant engine, I have Debris, Glow Up. The unbanning of Glow Up Bulb really helped this deck because it opened up a lot of plays. He sets up your graveyard with a dragon for dragons. He goes into level 8 synchros. He's an earth. Him and Redox is ridiculous. This card just made this deck so good. Then you have your Dandelion. This card's just absolutely ridiculous. It's both offensive and defensive. You can make a lot of synchro plays with this. You can set up a stall board with this. It's really good. And you have Spore. This and Formula is your only way to go have a rank 2 or not rank 2 level 2 tuner, and he's just really good because you can pitch him with Tempest to add like a Redox and then do make the plays with the Redox. Search him off Lone Fire. Just he's really good. Lone Fire, not much needs to be said. Plan engine, fire for blaster. Uh, when you do if you do a soul charge play with it, you pretty much instantly set up your graveyard for your dragon rulers. It's really good. All right, for mill package, I run double trooper and double curry bandit. I chose a 2-2 because card trooper is a goes into black rose plays and works well with redox, and curry bandit just digs really deep and is probably one of your best first turn plays in this deck. Thing that separates my list from others is I run all 6 of the hands. I chose to run 3 of each because I wanted this deck to be a little more monster heavy since since I had a lot of ways to fill up the grave, and I really don't like Evil Swarm, so the hands help that out a lot, and this also helps out with things like Vanity's Emptiness and other problem cards. And just having the extra blaster targets and having the ability to use titles foolish ability really helps with the plant engine. Foolish Burial, this card not much really needs to be said. It helps out both of your main engines, fuels dragons and helps out plants. This Burial from the Different Dimension, this card it's really good early, mid, and late game. It's just because you banish a lot with this deck between the Dragon Rulers, Spore, and things like that. This just allows you to refill your graveyard, which can help you make pushes later. Soul Charge. This card, not much really needs to be said. There's a reason it's a 1. It's always been really good with Dragon Rulers, and when you mix plants with it, this card just can single handedly win games. 1-for-1. This card, it works really well because you can pitch a Dragon Ruler, grab a Glow Up, bring the Dragon Ruler back, and go into instant level 8 synchro. Deck thinning, hand thinning. Cards just overall really good for the deck. Gold Sark, in this deck, this is actually better than it normally would be because if you don't want to go for the +1 by hitting a Dragon Ruler, you can grab like a 1-for-1 or something else to set up plays later. Then I run 2 Upstarts and triple Dragon Shrine. one change I would make with this deck is that I would cut the Dragon Shrine to 2 and leave the upstarts and then cut the upstart, or not cut, bring the upstart up to 3, because there was a lot of times where, because of how often I mill the deck, that I would end up just having one in hand or milling one of my Flambeau guards, and then the Dragon Shrines just aren't as good, and especially late game where most of your dragons are already gone anyways, then all Dragon Shrine is you can set it as a bluff, and I really don't like that. Traps, Torrential, Trap Stun. This card is really good. Vanity's Emptiness is a big card right now, and it also helps you push for OTKs. Bottomless, good, really good card. Not much needs to be said. Wish it was back to 2. Compulse, good versus Winda, and other problem cards. And then Phoenix Wing. This card has this. You have the same thought process playing this deck as you would when you're playing Burning Abyss. Is your chainable traps. If you're pitching a Dragon Ruler with them, the cost really isn't a cost anymore because you're not losing any advantage. And if you pitch something like a Dandelion or any of your plants, then it actually just becomes a straight up plus. All right, that's it for the main deck. Extra deck. All right, I got my tokens. Love those Dandelion tokens. All right, start out with the synchros. I run one formula synchron. With the plan engine, this is really easy to go into, and if you're doing a soul charge play, then this plus TG Hyper Librarian just can become a pseudo draw engine for the deck, which is really helpful. And having access to things like Black Rose and other synchros on your opponent's turn is just really powerful. Hyper Librarian, like stated, it's pretty much a draw engine for the deck because of how often you're synchro summoning. The card's just really good. Then one Armades. This card is pretty much my henge for troll decks. I was playing against Frog Monarchs, and I knew he had like a Jack Frost or a Battle Fader in hand, so I just dropped this and kept bashing, and there was nothing he can do about it. This is actually a Yugioh Guardian. I was borrowing one for the event, but I have the one I bought coming in from eBay. Black Rose, not much. This card is probably the best synchro you can do in this deck. It's a dragon, it's a level 7, and because you're running the plants, you also get access to a second effect, which is kind of funny because people don't see it coming usually. Stardust, with Raigeki coming back, I chose this over Spark because you can when you make a play with this deck, it's usually a pretty big push, and Spark doesn't really protect everything. So that's why I chose it. I might switch it up later, but I haven't decided yet. Scrap Dragon. This was probably the most common level 8 synchro I went into because I usually had a play where I would Scrap Dragon away their card, special summon Mythic Water, attack for 38, and then overlay the Mythic Water and the Scrap into Felgrand. I wasn't expecting I was going to do that play often, but I actually did it 4 times yesterday, which was funny. Crimson Blader. This card got a lot better in this format. Hurts plants, hurts Shaddolls, hurts the Monarch decks. It's a lot better, and it's a fire for Blaster. The card's just really good again. Star Eater. This guy is really easy to go into with this deck. You can do it with Debris Dragon plus any Dragon Ruler, or Spore banishing any of your level 3 plants plus a Dragon Ruler. And this guy coming out is really hard for your opponent to deal with, and it's just a 32 beater. It's really good. And it's a dragon for when they finally do get rid of it, you can just bring out Dragon Rulers. Alright, for my Exceeds, I run 101, and Exciton is my rank 4s. I didn't go into them yesterday, but because I run the hands as well as Debris plus Mythic Tree, they're really easy to go into, so I like them. I might change the 101 for a Castle, but I haven't decided yet. Alright, rank 7s, I run 2 Draco Sack. A lot of people are cutting this down to 1, but especially with my version of the deck, going into 2 is really easy. You have Mythic Tree plus Tidal, 2 Dragon Rulers, Black Rose plus any Dragon Rulers, really easy to go into 2, and there was multiple occasions yesterday where I just went into both of them. And it actually plays a second part in this deck because the token production with it, with your plant engine, allows you to make more synchro plays, which is really good. Big Eye, this card is. There's not much to say. This card is. He just takes your shit, and then you can synchro off with it, you can attack with it. 2600 beat stick. He's just really good. I might actually. I was thinking of bringing him up to 2, but I decided against it because usually he's a one-trick pony anyways. You don't want to ever go into 2 Big Eyes. My one rank 8 is Felgrand. I was running Heliopolis, but I cut him because I felt that anytime I was going into a rank 8, it was always going to be Felgrand. And the amount of time, usually when I go into a Felgrand, especially early game, I won the game. And this card is just ridiculous. It stops all the cards that hurt you. He protects himself. He stops your dragon rulers from bouncing to hand at the end phase, allowing you to go into plays without losing graveyard presence. This card just does everything you want it to do. My side deck for the event is kind of weird. I'm definitely going to change it up, but I liked it. I ran 1 DD Crow. This card, it's good, but it's not as good as it used to be. It's good if you like chain to a Shaddoll and they have to resolve in graveyard, so if you get rid of it, then you don't lose advantage. It's good versus like Monarchs, you can banish their Treeborn. Good versus plant decks, you can banish their Glow Up, banish their Spore. Card's just really good. I don't think it's worth running it at 2 anymore, but it's always good to have at least 1, especially since I run 2 Max C. This card's fallen out of favor recently for Flying C, and I understand why. But with a lot of people running things like Forbidden Chalice to stop Flying C, I put the Maxis back in. And with plants coming back, if you Maxi, like if you chain to a Lone Fire with Maxi, you usually are just telling the plant player to either stop or you're just gonna go massive plus. And the card's just really good right now. Then another choice I made, instead of running Breakthrough Skill, I run Valor. Valor, this card catches people off guard because since I have such a low trap count anyways, when I bring these in, I can just keep them in hand, and if they try and do something, like I'll have no back row and they'll think they're safe, and I just have the Valor in hand. It's also a 1-star tuner for 1/1. The card just does everything you want it to do. For the only spells on my sideboard, I ran 3 MST. Deals with Vanity's Emptiness, deals with like Imperial Iron Wall, any of the spell traps you don't want. And with this deck, since there is such a low spell trap count, usually game 2, your opponent will be siding out their MSTs, so you can bring yours in and have just better protection. Then for traps, I have 1 more trap stun. This is for troll decks as well as like anything that's super trap reliant, like Burning Abyss, especially like Jeff Jones' list where it's a 20-20 split, which is ridiculous. 2 Shadowmere, Shaddolls, Burning Abyss, Dark Worlds if that deck still exists. But yeah, it's just really good. Lightmere, Stella Knights, anything with lights. No explaining really. And then these were 2 Vanity's Emptiness, but I sold them just before the event started, so I replaced them with these. I would definitely run the Vanity's Emptiness over these, but they made a good supplement. So that's a deck. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe. Thanks for watching.